The king and queen of Eldoria were killed by Tyrus, the brother of Vagan, who then took over the kingdom. Princess Jane, Vagan's daughter, escapes into the forest. The goddess Elora tries 2 times to save the princess because of a challenge from the god Athra. Nadia, the goddess of evil, supported Tyrus. The princess found refuge with an old woman in the forest, whose son fell in love with her. Elora used a magic mirror to see who Tyrus's enemy was, and it showed Tyrus's wife. When time went backward, it revealed that Tyrus and Nickel were friends when they were young. Nickel is in love with Lewis, and Nickel introduces Lewis to Tyrus. Tyrus, mesmerized by Lewis's beauty. Tyrus takes Nickel with him to battle against a tribe and secretly killed him. And then Tyrus married Louise. And he said to Lewis, "When we have a baby boy, you'll be the queen and I'll be the king of Eldoria." Then, he took Lewis to a secret place and showed her the royal scepter and crown of the dynasty. Fairies are planning to steal the Eldorian scepter and crown. Accordingly, in Louise's dream, an Eldorian crown appeared and told her to crown herself and become the queen of Eldoria. Louise walked towards the throne that invited her to be crowned. She looked at it and said, "I am not worthy to sit on you. Princess Jane is worthy to sit on you. So, she should be crowned." Immediately, the Eldorian crown said, "What you don't deserve. You saved the king's life until now, and stopped Tyrus from becoming king without having a child. What qualifications do you want?" Just then, the flying sword spoke up, supporting the throne, and said, "You are the one who deserves to hold me in your hand." "No. I don't have those rights. You all are hereditary property of the king of this country. I am not a royal heir. If I have a child, he can claim it." She denied, saying, "I can't claim it." A scepter swung before her. "I symbolize justice. I am the symbol of justice. Tyrus, who doesn't understand justice, isn't fit to touch me. It's better for you to rule than for someone unworthy to hold me and rule." Louise said, "What you're saying isn't fair. Princess Jane, the rightful heir to the throne, is still alive. I'll put her on the royal throne of this country and make her hold you in her hand. By then, what will you do if Tyrus sits on me and becomes king?" The throne questioned her. Louise was stunned by the question. It was true. If Tyrus becomes king, what would happen? The scepter spoke to Louise, who was speechless. "If the crown, sword, and I were here, then Tyrus could become king, is that correct?" Scepter looked at her with a questioning gaze. Louise woke up suddenly from sleep and sat on the bed. She looked around. No scepter, no throne. She understood that everything she had seen so far was a dream. But, if the crown, sword, and I were here, then Tyrus could become king. The scepter's question was echoing in her mind. True, the fact that one can become the king of Eldoria only with these things stuck in Louise's brain. Louise wondered if she had stolen and hidden these without Tyrus knowing. Yes, these should be stolen and hidden. Louise began deep in thought about how to make this work. In the morning, Louis is sitting in the garden, when Boris, who is Nicole's friend, approaches her. "Can you do me a favor?" Louise asks Boris. Boris looks curious. "I need one of the best thieves in the country. Do you know one?" Boris asks why. "Tyrus is going to be crowned king soon. To stop him, we need to steal the crown. Will you help?" Boris understands. The plan seems right. But whether the plan works or not, Tyrus finds out, he will kill you. Because now only you and Tyrus know the secret location, Boris explains. "I'm not worried about my life. Stopping Tyrus is more important. Can you find the best thief?" Louise asks Boris. "I'll find one by this evening," Boris promises before leaving. Louise looked at him and began thinking deeply. Elora had a serious talk with the wise fairy. The dream fairy flew there and landed. The dream fairy told Elora, "Our plan is set perfectly. Last night, I put our plan in Louise's dream. This morning, Louise has started into action. She has decided to steal the crown," said the dream fairy with a smile. The house is far from town. Boris gets off his horse in front of the house. The 30-year-old man inside the house sees Boris through the window. Fear shows on his face. He can't run away because he's scared. The king will send someone to arrest him if he finds out about the theft he did yesterday. Thinking to himself, he decides to face the situation bravely and opens the door before Boris even knocks on it. He looked at him from head to toe and asked Boris, "What do you want?" Without saying anything, Boris sat down in the yard and gestured, "You sit too," and the thief sat beside him. Boris examined his face. "I know you're a skilled thief." Boris chuckled, "You've stolen a lot, but what have you gained? If you do one big theft, you could earn enough to stop stealing and live happily." Boris said, looking at the thief. The thief wondered who Boris was. "I want that too. But where can I find enough gold to steal?" "Most of it is with the royal family," he said nervously. Boris replied, "I know where the royal family keeps their treasure. If you give me half, I'll show you the spot." The thief didn't expect this and was surprised. "If we get caught, we could lose our heads, you know," the thief said angrily. "I know. If we're caught, we'll both be in trouble. Let's steal the treasure and leave this country. I'll handle all the arrangements." Boris tempted the thief with greed again. Greed quickly took hold of the thief's mind.